Hey guys, I'm back in the 2019 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. I wanted to give you guys some thoughts on this Jeep, just what it's been like to live with this week, and also give you a night drive. Show you what those headlights look like in the dark, and just go over some overall opinions on what this is like to live with, some of the pros and cons. Ultimately, as far as spec goes, this isn't how I would spec my Wrangler. I think, getting one of these really fitted up with luxury and leather and all these features and everything is honestly, I think it's kind of a waste, just because, at least with the soft top, because you lose so much comfort with the wind noise. I've seen a lot of people on the road speccing this with hard tops, and that's probably what I would do if I were to get the four-door Sahara. It's easier to hear conversations on the highway. It's just a lot more comfortable and a lot quieter. But if I were going with the bare bones base model, I'd get the stick, I'd get the 2 or 4-door, I'd get the rag top, take it off in the summer. But in a cold climate, it doesn't quite make as much sense. I do really like this 4-cylinder. It has this way of sounding and feeling industrial, yet refined. It's smooth. It's really quite powerful. It can be a little bit jerky sometimes on uptake and an uptake of throttle, but it's very responsive, and it's a really nice engine. The transmission works really well. This 8-speed's really well dialed in, and it has a nice little shifter down here where you can select the gears manually. Handling it's Jeep-like, it's a little bit funky. Ultimately, it has a good amount of grip. It has a good amount of capabilities around the corners. Like I can easily enter this turn at 50 miles an hour and keep it going. It's neutral, it feels good. There's very little steering feel, however. Brake pedal does feel awesome. It's really, really nice and firm. Feels like you have more than enough brakes. But there's kind of a wallowiness and a vagueness to this Jeep's handling, just like how there always has been. This is really nothing different. It's much more refined than it has been in the past, but I think it's probably a good thing and a bad thing that this is still Jeep-like. I like that they've kind of kept some of the original character in the way this Jeep drives. Ultimately, though, when you compare this to other luxury SUVs on the road, it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But when you compare this to past Jeeps, it's a really, really nice package. It's very refined and very livable, in my opinion. The ride quality is phenomenal. This thing over bumps, you hit this massive pothole and you brace for impact, and it just rolls over. It doesn't care. It doesn't make a sound. It's very, very well damped, and you feel like you can tackle trails, rough roads, dirt, anything with this thing, and it has the capabilities to do it. And of course, the aftermarket for these is astronomical. There's so many parts that people outfit their Jeeps with, and for good reason. One complaint I do have is just, maybe this is just part of the soft top design too. I've actually never driven a hardtop Jeep, but getting into the trunk it's just such a tiny opening, and I guess that's kind of the way it's always been. But there's a decent amount of cargo space back there. It's just really hard to access. There's a lot of little things about this that add up, from the little Jeep logo in the windshield that's climbing up the little hill, and to when you set adaptive cruise control, the car that you're following is an original Jeep. Pretty cool. The turning radius is phenomenal. Tons of steering angle for getting around those tight trails. And that turbo just pulls. Stop-start kicks in quite a bit, but it's a very good system. It's almost seamless in the way that it turns on. Like, once you let your foot off the brake, it's on. There's no lurching, there's no delay, there's no lag from when you get started back up, which is pretty awesome. Everything else, I think. Oh, I had a weird thing happen yesterday with the infotainment and with Apple CarPlay. We had Waze plugged in, and I call him Jeeves, but the guy who tells you the directions, the girl who tells you directions, I have a guy set. He kept coming on, and you couldn't adjust the volume of what he was saying. So every time he would speak, it'd be a little bit too loud, so I'd want to turn the volume down a little bit. The next time he would speak, it would go right back to where it was before. So kind of annoying. I couldn't really keep the volume where I wanted it for Apple CarPlay and for navigation. Not sure if that's just a bug, needs to be updated, but it's definitely a problem that was quite an annoyance last night. We had this out with a few friends, and we were just kind of taking it out to Detroit for a night out on the town, and complaints were wind noise, handling, and Apple CarPlay with the volume issue. So otherwise, though, fun vehicle. Definitely I think this would be a really cool thing to own that you would really, really enjoy. And how do you quantify a fun factor? Well, I think these just kind of put a smile on your face, because you can just kind of drive up on things that don't make sense like that. All right, guys. Well, I think that sums it up for the Wrangler for me. There are probably millions of ways to spec these things. I do love this blue. This is a really nice color for the Wrangler. I think it's probably one of my favorites. This isn't exactly how I would spec mine, but it's nice to see all the luxury features. The adaptive cruise control does work quite well, and other than that one problem with the Waze app and the volume, Apple CarPlay is really fast, really responsive. It's very nice, and as soon as you plug your phone in, it's ready to go. This all starts up very quickly, and it's very comfortable in here too. You have the driving position is great, the seats are comfortable, they're a little bit firm, but they do support you well. And then you have this really nice kind of armrest situation to your two arms here, and it makes for a very comfortable driving position. Everything else in here is really nice and chunky. Everything feels high quality. The leather is really plush, and all the touch points feel really good. There's kind of a rubberized material around the volume knobs and climate controls. And yeah, a lot of cool things about this Jeep. And then there is also a lot of things that are like, well, does this really make sense for a modern vehicle? And if you want a Jeep, you're going to be willing to put up with some of those things. Someone mentioned in a video last week that this has a massive key fob, and it does. It's huge. Alright guys, well that wraps it up for this video. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you later.